Yo, yo, what's going on, people? Happy people. How y'all doing today? Actually, you know what? I'm gonna get rid of these headsets for tonight. Yeah, I'm not gonna need the headsets. Tonight is not an impromptu show. As you can see, there's a thumbnail, there's a title, and but I don't really know who needs to hear this. Life happens to us all. Life comes in waves and things happen. Most times we're not expecting them to happen, but they do. So the question you have to ask yourself is, what do you do when the hard times come? And what I've discovered is life waits for nobody. Life don't stop because you had a bad week. And to be transparent, the bottom kind of fell out of my life this week. Some things happened that I can't talk about right now, but I probably will at some point in time. But it kind of shook me to my core. And honestly, I wasn't sure how I was going to manage. I wasn't sure how to get by, what to do about anything. And then it hit me. What do you do when you're in the middle of a storm? You keep going. You don't stop. You go through what you got to go through. You suck it up and you keep going, because storms, they come, but they come to pass. They never come to stay. They never come to stay. So you just have to hold on, be strong, and keep on pushing for what you're pushing for. Push through the pain. Push through until you get through. You know, there's a lot of sayings or quotes that people spout all the time about life and, you know, what's happening in life. And it's all real, man. It's all real. We all got stuff going on. We all going through stuff. And the best thing to do is just keep pushing, keep going, keep doing what you got to do. All right, that's enough about that. So this week, well, before we get into this week, last week, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down there. Hit the bell for notifications so you'll see when I go live. Also, give me a thumbs up on the content. Let me know if you like what I'm doing. If you got questions, you got comments, let me know. Let me know what's happening and what's going on. Also, let me do one thing. Let's see. Is it loading? Okay, it's taking its time on the load. So, I'll keep going that. Last week we talked about are gender roles dead? And we got into a lot of great conversation. A lot of people were giving comments, and it was two comments that I did not get to. One was by Bobby, the other was by Mara. Mara was like, she doesn't mind there are gender roles. She actually likes the gender roles. However, she doesn't mind the cooking, the cleaning, and all of that. But she needs help. And I think that's a fair statement. Bobby said that she thought gender roles were dead after being divorced and being a single mom. But then she found love again and realized that no, it's a natural order to things. And she's honestly more at peace when there are roles. Because when you know what you have to do, it makes life a little bit easier. Still, not saying it makes it easy as far as what you have to do, but in the understanding, it makes it easy. And that kind of goes right into our topic for this week. And that topic for this week was, do single moms create the same men they hate to date? Now, I ask this question simply because I've met so many single women. In brief history, you guys know this if you watched last week. I was married for almost 20 years. And so going back into the dating scene, I realized some tough lessons. And one of the main ones was that women had a lot of complaints about men. And which is, it's not out of the ordinary to hear it, but everything they were complaining about, I wasn't. So I'm just like, well, why am I having a hard time? I don't do any of those things. So, and I felt out of place for a second. And then talking to a friend of mine who has a 17, 18-year-old son at the time, and I kind of watched how their relationship went, and I realized, wow, this is why single women are having the problems that they are having. So I asked the question, do single moms create the same men that they hate to date? Now, when I told my mom I was going to do this, she instantly was like, no. And I simply asked her a question. I said, if you didn't know me and you met me out, knowing the kind of guy that I am, would you date me? Weird question, I know. I said, I'm not your son. I'm a random guy. Or even better yet for her, I said, forget me. If you met a guy who presented himself the way I present myself, would you be interested? And she was like, yes, of course. And then I asked the question about somebody else in the family. And she was like, oh, no. And I was like, well, why not? And she gave me this list of things that this person did that she didn't like, didn't find attractive. And I said, what's the difference between how I was raised and how he was raised? And she was like, I don't know. I said, let me help you. He was raised by mom alone. I was raised with my dad. Well, mom and dad. Now, quick disclaimer, I am not saying that a single mom can't do a great job or an amazing job raising a son. It's not what I'm saying. But listen very closely to what I'm saying. As a young male, I didn't do half the things that I wanted to do because I know I had to go home and answer to my father. When things got tough in the household, and I had to go to my mother or my father, that's a no-brainer. I went to mom. Why? Less resistance. Easier path to what I want. If I was in trouble in school or trouble somewhere else, I called mom first. I didn't really call dad most of the time. Why? Because mom was going to defend me. And that's a great thing because mothers, as I stated, or as we went over last week, mothers have a knack for caring for nurturing, for supporting, for helping to develop. And because of that, moms tend to be, more of an enabler to younger men, to young boys becoming men. I have a friend, and they are currently going through that. And their son is 26 now, and they have enabled this kid. He's graduated from college, and all he does is play PlayStation. He hangs out with his friends. He doesn't have clean the room. He doesn't really chip in on any bills because he won't keep a job, and mom allows it. And so what I consider this young man to be is a husband. Yes, I said a husband. A husband is a son mixed with a husband. That's a husband. And it's tough for a lot of kids to hear it. It's tough for a lot of moms to hear it. But in all honesty, it's good to have someone to come home to, especially if you're a single mom. It's good to have a child back in the house. It's good to have somebody who is there to keep you company or is there, and you feel more secure when somebody else is in the house. It gives you more of a sense of purpose when there's somebody there to do things for. The problem with that is that this son never really fully matures, especially if there's no other father figures around. And so what is happening is a lot of guys are now, they are, what's the best way to say this? They don't have to do as much. And a man has to do things to become a man. Just simply has to. So I went scouring the internet and I went talking to a few people and I came up with a list. A list. And it was on the eHarmony website, and it says the women's 10 biggest complaints about men. And ironically, the first complaint was all talk, no action. I'm going to read a little bit of this description. It says, no, we're not talking about bedroom behavior. What many women have an issue with is men who say they're going to do something but don't follow through. Now, if you grew up with a brother in the house, what was the number one complaint? Mom telling him, go do this, go do that. And how many times did she have to tell him, Mom, I'm doing it, as he's sitting there on the sticks, still getting that Madden action in. Because mom doesn't exude a certain energy that a father or a father figure would exude. I remember one time my mom came in my bedroom complaining about something. And she was sick of me at this particular time because I was always saying what I was going to do. But I never did it until my dad came home. And so one time she decided she's going to make me respect her. So she came in with this broomstick and she started hitting me with this broomstick. And she drew back and she came over and you could see the look in her eyes like she was grunting, like she about to give me all the business. I put my arm on the block and the broomstick broke over my wrist. And she just looked at the stick. She looked at me. I mean, the broomstick. She looked at me and she walked away. Because she knew I was at an age where it wasn't much else she could do with me or for me. So that's when she began to really give me over to my dad. And that was probably one of the best things she could have done. Although my dad was really hard. He was tough. But my mom found the wisdom in that. Number 2. You're dishonest about what you want. Now I'm talking about the top 10 reasons or top 10 things that women have an issue with as concerned with men on this list. And it says you're dishonest about what you want. This meshes well with point 1 and deserves further explanation because this is really one of the biggest complaints we see from women about men. You tell a woman you are truly ready for commitment, you pursue her, and then freak out. I've heard it 1,000 times. I've seen it. I maybe even done it once or twice. You're not sure what you want. And I think, ladies, what it is men have a desire to be men. And that's to protect and to provide. And when a man really likes you, now, I will give you this information not to discourage you, not to caution you, but to kind of say just what it is. A lot of times a man will move heaven and earth to be with you, to be around you, and as soon as you guys consummate the relationship, he's he sometimes take off. He's not what he proclaimed to be. I just want to know if your arm was as big back then In the broomstick days as it is now. I'll go ahead and put that one up there. Oh man. Great question. No, moms were not as big then as it is now. It was not. It was not, Bobbyette. You just threw me out. That was you made me laugh at that one. I really appreciate it. No. Moms definitely was not as big as they are now, but I was stronger then than I am now. If that makes any sense, I don't know. Maybe I've just gotten older, and it's just something different now. Oh yeah. However, but where I was going was I could do so much more. I could do so much more physically. And my mom, she was talking to me, and it was crazy. And I would hear it go in one ear and out the other. But when my dad came home, I instantly straightened up. I instantly made sure the trash was out. I made sure the grass got cut. I made sure all that stuff happened. I didn't keep my word. And I know you guys who have had big brothers or big cousins and you've seen them, they struggle with that. They kind of run over moms a little bit. And they do a lot of things that they wouldn't do if there was a male figure in the house. But also when it comes to dating, a lot of times, ladies, guys are afraid to tell you, look, I just got out of a relationship and I'm still kind of attached. But because you guys are just like, nope, I'm done. I don't want no parts of that. Maybe. Fellas, be honest. Just say what you're looking for. And if there's nothing, say you're not looking for anything. But tell her, I think you're extremely beautiful. And I would love to explore possibilities with you. But I can't promise anything because I'm freshly out of something and I don't want to create any more ties. But I would like to get to know you. Maybe we could be friends and talk and build something. I don't know. Be honest about what you want, fellas. That's really what ladies are really asking for. Just to be honest and be open. Another thing on this list was too much too soon. The guy who comes in, he's talking about marriage, the first, second, third date. He's doing too much. He wants you to meet his mom like ASAP. Doing extremely too much. Now again, we're talking about the top 10 things that women complain about that eHarmony has took through surveys. Mr. Angry. Mr. Possessive. The guy who thinks he controls you. The guy who thinks he can do whatever he wants and it's okay. Or the guy who's angry at the world and just always venting about stuff. You're too serious. You're too serious. You don't own anyone. The world doesn't care that you're mad. The world doesn't care that you have trauma. And frankly, it's a turnoff. So I get it. I get it, ladies. I get it. And I'm reading this list to you because they all really have one thing in common. But the next one, I'm just going to go through the list and kind of just get it all out. It's all about you. Ladies, have you ever met that guy? You sit down and you talk to him and it's just about him. It's his story and he goes on and on and on. And you know almost everything about him. But he knows very little about you. Doesn't seem to care. He's not letting you express yourself. I forget who said it, but people love to hear, there's one word people love more than anything else to hear from another person. It's their name. If you want to endear yourself to somebody, ask them who they are, where they come from, and watch them just burst with pride telling their story. Also, the next one, too much boy, not enough man. Yeah, I'm gonna say that one for one of the other ones coming. I think it's number 9. Too much boy, not enough man. That says a lot. We're gonna hold that one. All right, going to the guy with the wandering eyes. You walking with your boo, and he's checking every guy out. He's looking at everything walking past, and seems to be in awe. And that's I can imagine that's frustrating, ladies. I know I'd be a little beside myself if my girl was checking every dude out. Yeah, that would be ugly. That would be ugly. That'd be real ugly. But again, these are the things that women complain about in this dating scene with these guys. The bump on the log, and I'm going to admit the bump on the log is kind of me. Okay, ladies, men are really, really sedentary a lot of times, especially once we get in a relationship. Let me take a little sip. Men are really, we don't like to go like many places. We're not really, we go to the movies, maybe bowling, but as far as the club scene, going out partying, most men not interested in doing that once they get in a relationship. You know, it's a necessary thing while we're looking, because we know we're not going to meet anybody sitting on the couch. But we don't generally want to be out there. And so guys that do that, it's a turnoff for a lot of women, but primarily in a relationship, because you meet these guys out and you think they're this way. They're outgoing, they're adventurous, they're men about the town, they know people, they're connected. But then you get with them and they just kind of want to sit at the house most of the time, unless you planning something. Yeah, ladies, I know. I've heard that complaint before about myself. All right, number 9. That is the mama's boy. So we're going to go back to that too much boy, not enough man. These two go hand in hand. The mama's boy is a twofold thing. The first one is the mama is always in the business. The mama is always giving advice or interfering with the relationship. The mom is always being judgmental about everything you do. She has way too much information. And you have to compete with mom. I just seen a gif or a skit or something on social media where the guy put his girlfriend in the back seat and his mom sat in the front seat. Not a good look. Oh, that was tough. Cause strong moms, man. Oh man, I heard a girl tell me one time that I put my kid first because they'll never leave me. And I think those type of guys, I think they do the same thing. They're never going to make their mom ride in the back seat because mama ain't going nowhere. Girlfriend might leave, mama ain't going nowhere. So being a mama's boy, fellas, it's a turnoff. And the number 10 thing was, he's way too comfortable. Now these are a list of 10 things that women find as turnoffs, or they complain most about men, single men. He's way too comfortable. Way too comfortable. You know the guy, you get in a relationship with him, and he's just chilling. He's just relaxing. He's on the couch. He ain't got a whole lot going on. It's a sad sight to see when a guy just lets it all go like that. So I know you're curious. What do all of these things have in common? What is it? I told you about this husband, right? What do all of these things have in common? So let's make a list real quick. A mother that's single, raising a son, and this is not all cases, but it's the majority of the cases. Mom fiercely protects baby boy. Mom fiercely provides for baby boy. Mom fiercely nurtures baby boy. Mom becomes an enabler for this young fella. But what mom isn't realizing is that this guy is gonna be somebody's husband one day. This guy is gonna be a leader in a home someday. And so this guy has not been prepared to be any of that. So all those things on that list we just talked about, or I just read to you, a lot of single moms create that. Not because they're negligent, it's out of love. Because you want to protect your child. You want to do what's best for your child. But the difference between what a mother would do and a father would do was, I'll talk about my ex. My first son. His mother, he is still definitely a mama's boy, but in the healthier sense of the word. He loves his mom, but he is a full grown man. He just turned 21, but he is a full grown man. He can provide for himself. He can provide for others. He can protect. And why is that? Because I told his mom when he was 13, this boy is going to be somebody's husband one day. He's going to be a father to some children one day. And so I'd be doing him a disservice if I let you keep babying him. So what did I make him do? At 16, he bought his first car. Now, mind you, this car went for $600 though. But he saved up $600 to buy the car. I bought a transmission to go in that car because the transmission was bad. I teach him how to do the thing. I assist him with getting it done. And then I teach him how to work on it. I take him camping. I take him fishing. I teach him how to provide, how to hunt. I teach him how to do these things so he can provide for himself. I teach him the workings of how family works and what a man's responsibility is and what a man's role is. Now, were there times that he wanted he got tired of me and he complained? Yes, most definitely. He was tired. He complained all the time. But guess what? Those magic words that every parent looked forward to hearing. Pop, you did a good job. You wasn't so bad as a parent. I thought you were. I resented you for a lot of time because you was always so hard on me. But now I'm prepared for the world. And when my son told me those words, he just told me this a couple months ago when it was just like, you see the smile on my face. It was the most amazing feeling ever because that was validation. In a few years before that, I wrote my dad a card. It was Father's Day. And I just simply put, thank you for being the bad guy. Thank you for being the bad guy. So I don't know who needs to hear this tonight. Regardless of the relationship you have with your son's father. You guys could be happily married. You guys could be divorced. You guys could have never been married. Could be just co-parenting. Or if you in a single status and there is no father figure, get him into a mentoring program. Get him somewhere where there's some positive male role models. Because these boys are going to be somebody's husband one day. They're going to date somebody one day. And they need to be ready. They need to be trained on what a husband looks like. Some of us just needed some therapy. Somebody to talk to, somebody to understand, somebody to bridge the gap between us and our fathers. Because generally what happens, men or boys that are raised by strong mothers, they're really meek, really mild-mannered guys. They're really easy to get along with guys. They normally have a little bit of a temper though. It just takes a while to get to it. But they're really laid-back, low-key guys. The problem with that is they tend to find really strong women. And we're going to talk about strong women next week. Because just like I'm asking a question about moms. Matter of fact, let me put the question back up. Do single moms create the same men they hate to date? That's the question of the night. Do single moms really create the men they hate to date? And I think the answer is yes. I truly believe the answer is yes. Next week, we're going to ask the same question, but from a different perspective. Do dads create the women that are difficult to deal with? Something along that line. Because we play a part in raising our children. And as mom, we want to take care of our sons and protect them. But what we're doing is we're enabling or disabling their growth. And enabling not bad behavior, but we're not pushing them into being the best man that they can be. They really have no purpose because they've been taken care of. So I was talking about those guys who are raised by single moms. They tend to get along really well with women because once you learn how to get along with mom, you can get along with almost any other woman because mom is a woman. You learn how to talk to women. But some ladies will say they also some of the biggest dogs because they do know how to talk to women. They know how to maneuver around women really well. Most guys raised by both mom and dad, there's a certain amount of anger issues that this male has because he thinks he's a man before he is, and his dad is standing in his way. And so he's butting heads with dad, and mom is putting out the fires. But anyway, ladies, what do you think? Do women create? I know I went through this whole soliloquy and everything. But ladies, what do you think? Do single moms create men that they hate to date? That's the question that I want to know. And tonight, honestly, engagement is good, and I really appreciate it, but it's not even really required tonight. If you want to say something, please do, but I guess I just need to kind of get this out because I've been thinking about this for a while because I also have daughters, and they're dating. One of my daughters is now engaged. Another one just got out of a relationship. And so they're meeting these guys who they're not quite what they're used to. And it's a struggle. Because they saw a dad, they saw a man, and they're not expecting them to be that, but it should be a resemblance somewhere in there. So without calling anybody's names or out in anybody's life, I'm going to stop right there. And I just want to say this as I close for tonight. Ladies. Mothers, if you are raising sons and there is no male or father figure around, get that child somewhere close to a mentoring program, to a positive rites of passage boot camp, something where this guy can interact with other guys, where this guy can get some manhood skills and life training. What's this comment? Let's see. So are you saying in all scenarios boys have issues with becoming men? Because you said single moms create men that hate to date, and two-parent homes create men with anger issues. Hold on, let me see if I understand. Let me read that one more time. So are you saying in all scenarios boys have issues with becoming men? Okay, no. I am not saying that boys have issues with all scenarios. They have issues with becoming men. What I'm saying is, and thank you for that question because it does help me clarify. What you would have if you have a home where there's a really strong mom, in a home where there's a laid back dad. Because mom spends more time with the son or the daughter for that matter. Mom imprints because she's there more. Dad guides, but mom does more of the imprinting. Hope that made a little bit more sense. Let me know if that made a little bit more sense to you, Bobby. Yeah. I'll let you guys read that one for yourselves. Yeah. So yeah, in my experience, I've seen it two ways. In my personal household, my mother was strong, but my mother was definitely a traditional wife. And so I did everything that my dad needed me to do just so I had to hear his mouth. So I learned by default. However, my mom was really aggressive with me. And so that caused me to have some challenges, some anger issues, because my mom never really learned how to nurture either. Awesome. My mom never really learned how to nurture. And so she struggled with that. Yeah, so she struggled with that, and coming back to me, it was always a challenge. We always butted heads. I remember in 5th grade, she told me I better not go to school and show my behind. So what do you think I did? Exactly. I went to school and showed my behind. And when the teacher said, well, why are you acting so bad today? Because my mama told me not to. And my mama came to the school and I was shook that she was coming. But I wasn't like super whatever. But when I heard my dad was coming, oh my God. I think I died twice before I realized he wasn't coming. But just the thought of my dad coming. See, ladies, there's something about men and boys. Men, there's a humbling thing that a man brings. Boys respect that. And whether they do it out of fear or they do it out of less problems, just to get along, they do it. But also when there's not a man around, that boy's angry as well because he know he's missing his dad. So if you are a mom out there that's keeping your child's father out of his life on purpose, stop. 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 Stop now. Right now. Stop. S-T-O-P. Stop. If you are doing that on purpose, don't do it. I don't care what you and this guy had going on. If this guy wants to be a part of his kid's life, don't interfere with that. Trust me, it's going to cause way more issues down the road if you do. And it's bad karma. It's very bad karma. But anyway, thank you for your time tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I am getting ready to say goodbye. But before I go, like I say, this week it wasn't, this is really kind of an impromptu kind of week. I had so many trials, so many storms that happened. And I am getting through day by day, going through a lot of different emotions. And my thoughts are still scattered even right now. Because life can be hard. But I will say this. You can get through and do amazing trials if you just keep pushing. Put God first. Keep your dreams in front of you. Surround yourself with good people. And things will work themselves out. All right. That's my time for tonight. I'll see you next week. And you know, next week we did say dads. I'm getting on dads next week. I'm really going to get on dads because I'm so guilty of this. But so I'll see you guys next week. Be blessed.